We're going to talk for a few minutes now about guns, and much of our nation's raging debate about the issue has centered certainly on mass shootings, and understandably. But this past weekend, a new report came out that I know some people did a double take about, and that was as related to suicides and suicide by gun. Nearly 20,000 of the 30,000 deaths from guns in the United States in the year 2010 were from suicides. You heard me right. 2 out of every 3 people who died via gun in this country died at their own hand. 20,000 Americans. And suicide attempts with guns tend to be much more lethal, obviously, than other means. Suicide attempts with guns are fatal 85% of the time. Attempts with pills are fatal just 2% of the time. So again, do the math. Then there seems to be a correlation between gun ownership and suicide. The states that have the highest suicide rates, states like Wyoming, Montana, Alaska, are also coincidentally or not so coincidentally the top gun-owning states. Indeed, guns kept in the home. Now I want you to listen to this number. I know you get bombarded with a lot of data here, but just listen to this one number. A gun in the home is 43 times more likely to kill a friend or a family member, a loved one, than it is to kill an intruder. And I know this isn't going to necessarily change any minds out there, people entitled to, and I understand passionate opinions on both sides here, but it comes in the backdrop about where we go next. And I'll bring in what Mr. LaPierre recently said, and we've had members, including an interview that Andrew did last week with an NRA member and a gun owner who said he doesn't speak for me, and we'll speak as to, you know, if more feel that way, but just haven't been as vocal with it yet. But Tom, the feeling is, I thought, at best they were going to get the background checks. Maybe they'd get the database. But now there's a feeling in Washington that there could be some ammo clip restrictions. Assault weapon ban, unlikely here. But an assault weapon, but the ammo clips could be on the table. Surprises me a little bit.
It doesn't surprise me at all, because remember, I was starting to wonder if something was wrong with me, because when we had the conversation, but I even wasn't willing to write off the assault weapons ban. Newtown changes your backyard, unfortunately, Congressman, but it changed everything. Those beautiful kids, well, I don't have to go through it again in terms of the horrible thing that the country went through. Something has to give, and that's why I thought that it was only right that the president used as much political capital on this as he has thus far. Now, it's still not a done deal. Let's see what happens, but I'm not willing to write off anything, not even the assault. I know it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot, but not even the assault weapons ban right now.
Andrew, how about you? You surprised that there, again, this is very fluid, and I think what happens in the debates over the sequester, and obviously I think immigration, the tone of it will probably filter into this as well. But are you surprised that there does seem to be more possibilities than we thought a couple of weeks ago?
I am surprised. I know that a lot of this is based off the Times story today with Senator Murphy in Connecticut, who's talking about, and it makes a valid argument about the clips and about the extended ammo clips, that it's different from an assault weapon in that a guy like Adam Lanza, if he had to reload 8 or 9 times as opposed to just once or twice, he might have killed fewer people. But I also think that this may be a little bit of a PR job by people who are pushing for gun control. I'm not convinced that there is the groundswell of movement on extended magazine clips. I wish to you-know-who that there was, but I'm not convinced, and I can't see the NRA ever yielding on that, so I'm not sure I can see the House and the Republican majority ever yielding on that.
On Thursday, the Vice President's going to be in your neck of the woods, and I know
Where's he going to be?
He's going to be, I believe, in Danbury.
Okay.
And he'll be there with basically members of the Connecticut delegation on both sides that'll be there as well. What kind of a response, reception do you think he'll get with as vocal as he's been about there needs to be a change, not just in a culture, but tangible changes? What do you think the people of Connecticut
want to see?
Well, it depends
who his audience is, but I think people will be respectful. When a president or vice president usually comes to the community, it's kind of exciting for folks. You know, to me, the story today was the indication that Lanza was motivated by the Norway massacre, and that they found some real violent games in his 2 rooms. To me, that's the story. That's what motivated this guy. He used a gun, but that's what motivated him.
You know, part of this conversation is also what I think, if the NRA took a different approach, if Wayne LaPierre, after he waited a week, had a different press conference, instead of showing the video game here and then saying we need to arm more people in more schools and that's the answer, and almost acting like he was a formal wing of the government who would decide basically what policy was for this country, I think there would have been a different response, and I think that maybe the debate would have moved, but it was seen by many to say, wait a minute here. This is a guy who sees no responsibility as to the gun owner right now, and moreover, you know, he's not even going to listen to his own membership. We've given the polls out here. You have more than 92% of the American public who believes in universal background checks, and more than 70% of the members of the NRA, I think it's close to 75% do, but yet he won't speak to it. There's a risk here that he's going to do more harm to basically blanket rights for gun owners than anything the president or even the supporters can do on Capitol Hill, because people are given 2 choices here in a vacuum of other voices. It's really the president and Wayne LaPierre, and I think he's doing more damage than anything else to himself.
Yeah, I agree. I think Wayne LaPierre is running the risk of being intransigent on this issue and adding to this motivation for having some real gun control change.
We're going to follow this here, obviously, in the coming days. And as I said, this Thursday, the Vice President will be in our region in Connecticut, and we will have that for you on Thursday night. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back, RFL, right after this.